We live in an amazing world, full of wonderful people, doing incredible things, and I'm going to show them to you. I'm Doug Metcalf. Welcome to Positively You.
Look at you like you're crazy. These guys here, man, that's the band. You know, hell, they had rough-looking clothes on and everything. It didn't matter to them. What mattered to them was what was played on stage. Because when we finished Freebird, we got them.
Sitting in this room, it's where the magic happened. This is where the Allman brothers recorded. This is where Marshall Tucker recorded. Several other Southern rock artists recorded. And it was all brought to you by a dear friend of mine, Alan Walden. That's coming up today on Positively You. Hello everybody, welcome again to Positively You, and we're back with Alan Walden. This week we're going to talk about the other chapter in Alan's life, and that's the Southern rock era. And if you don't know it, this man brought us, and his brother brought us so many great artists. And so tell me about the beginnings of where we're sitting now, Capricorn Records.
After Otis got killed, we weren't excited about the R&B acts anymore. The ones that were left were ones that always wanted to borrow money or canceled their gigs or did something. Anyway, it just wasn't, there wasn't another Otis in the crowd. And so my brother came home and said he wanted to get into rock and roll. And I said, okay, I'm with you. What's first, you know? And we had Tony Joe White to start with. He was one of the artists, and he did very well with us. Phil discovered Duane Allman, and so he that launched him into the good rock and roll bands. And next thing you know, Marshall Tucker band comes in. Those were some exciting years.
Yeah, I mean, you even got to be friends with Jimmy Carter.
Huh?
You even got to be friends with Jimmy Carter. I mean, that was an unlikely, a very church-oriented man, all of a sudden now hanging out with the rock and roll crowd.
Listen, he came out, the bands went out and did benefits for Jimmy Carter. I mean, the Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker, all of them at some point did some fundraising for Jimmy Carter. And Carter remembered him. He wasn't one that used them and said, screw it after that. He continued to stay right in there with him. In fact, the Umbrellas even went to the White House.
You were with Capricorn for a number of years, and then you would tell me the story about how you had talked about with Phil about, you could get one artist, and because you had so much overhead with Capricorn, you could do one artist and make more money. I love that story.
Well, I did. I felt like I could take one band and put all of my efforts into that one band, that I could make one of the big ones. And Lynyrd Skynyrd kicked it out of him. Excuse my language and beep that one. But Skynyrd was a showstopper. I mean, these guys, man, when Freebird was going, the crowd would be going wild too. I mean, and Freebird was probably the best road song we had in all the bands.
What was the one that sold you on the band? Because wasn't that what they auditioned for you with?
Huh?
Wasn't Freebird what they auditioned with?
Freebird, I auditioned 13 bands there in Jacksonville in a warehouse. And Skynyrd was the 13th band. And the other bands had been okay. Skynyrd came out there and they started. And I'm going, whoa, these guys here got some notes. I mean, I'm hearing some good stuff. By the time they got through with Freebird, I was signed today's contracts right over there. You know, let's make a deal. And then Ronnie turned around and told me about the Outlaws. He told me about them, and they had played a date together somewhere. And he said, "Alan, you got another one here if you want them. They need somebody." And sure as well, I signed the Outlaws, and they did pretty good. They had 3 gold, and one that should be platinum by now, but they haven't announced it. But the rock and roll years were definitely different. I mean, you know, it was all limousines by then. You know, limousine. Who's got the best limousine today? You know, and all of a sudden you realize these guys are paying like, you know, $500 a night for these limos, and still needing to borrow money from me. And so I helped them trim down quite a bit. And some of it they liked, some of it they didn't like, and some of it I didn't give a dang whether they liked it or not, because I knew I was that right.
Yeah,
you know?
Being a manager, sometimes you got to be tough.
Oh, you know, if you're going to let the act tell you what to do, you're being managed. You're being managed, and they're getting the success. We're on the tour with the Who now. This is big style, right? And so this guy from the hotel is going to arrange us a limousine. He shows up, he's in an economy van, you know, and I'm going, it's supposed to be a limousine. And, you know, they send this car over there. Well, we go over there in this van and park down, and the band gets all unloaded, go into the dressing room. The police call to say, "You've got to move your van. We're parked in the wrong place or something." And I said, "Man, we got to be on stage in like 10, 15 minutes here. Let's be reasonable, you know." It's, you know, either do it or don't. And I said, "We'll do our best," you know. We went out there and kicked the pee out of them, boy. I mean, it was, Skynyrd was a killer band. I mean, they destroyed so many bands out there. I'm talking about all the way to the Who, and man, they were.
I heard your brother wouldn't book them with the Allmans anymore after the time that they went on stage, and you guys did so much better.
Well, Big Brother ain't always right. He some of the things he used to say to me about my band, that I would sit down and say, "You're sitting here saying that doo-doo about my band, and they're out there right now kicking the shit out of your band." I said, "To explain that, you know." And we did. We battled the bands, you know, and Skynyrd and Marshall Tucker became real good friends, and so that was a plus. That gave us 2 good hot Southern rock bands touring together, and You know, we're very lucky to be able to keep it like a family. You know, like, hey, you know, yeah, we're going to have certain rules here about what you do and what you don't do, you know, and let's keep it clear. And we did. We kept it pretty clean.
Pretty clean, and I see the smirk.
We left a little blood over here and a little blood over there, but I think that was from donations.
Blood donors.
But see, you can understand why here I am, a Southern man, coming in with these rock and rollers, and they look at you like you're crazy. These guys here, man, that's the band. You know, hell, they had rough-looking clothes on and everything. It didn't matter to them. What mattered to them was what was played on stage. Mm-hmm. Because when we finished Freebird, we got them. Mm-hmm. They gonna, and we would say "Sweet Home Alabama" for the encore. Mm-hmm. And we had some pretty smart people out there with them. Ronnie was one super tough guy. I mean, man, I always thought, this got a little guy here, I ain't gonna be worried about messing with him. He's littler than I am, you know. If I ever get in a fight, I think I might take him. Then I saw him fight. and he mopped the floor with the guy. I mean, tore him up. And it took the whole band to get him out. And he was a fighter. He was a tough guy.
Yeah. The difference between Skynyrd, because I know that Skynyrd, they were fighters and they were rough and that. But how were the Outlaws? I mean, they seemed to be a little bit
They
more...
were rough, too.
Or were they?
I dealt with some pretty rough people there, but I liked it. I liked it. Henry Paul, man, hey, somebody gonna mess with me. Henry, come on. We didn't beat up a lot of people, but occasionally you got some guy that just won't take no for an answer. And he thinks he can just show up the band by being cute. And so we straightened a lot of them out.
I talk to a lot of people that know that we know each other. And it's always, he's a legend. I mean, do you think about that? I mean, people think of you as a legend and somebody who has changed.
I am.
You are?
I'm a big legend, man. No, I still see myself as an ordinary guy. And a guy that got into the music business by taking my brother's place when he was gone. And I wanted to be different from Phil. I was the country one, he was the city one, you know. And I let him discuss all with the art experts and paintings and everything. I mean, he feels very intelligent with everything. Mm-hmm. And but you know, it kept going for a number of years. In fact, I was surprised that it went as long as it did, because in those years the bands hit, maybe get us 1 second hit, die. You know, some never get that second. You know.
I sit there and I think about, you know, you as a person. Mm-hmm. You've got the sweetest soul, and then you got your tough side.
Yeah.
But you've made a difference. How does that feel to be like, you know, I mean, when you look back, the difference you've made in this world? I mean,
I socked some damn music to them, boy. That's for sure.
You
I mean,
did.
if you look at the names, you know, let's just take Otis Redding. Let's take Lynyrd Skynyrd. And let's take the Outlaws. That's 3 giants right there that I had, and I was very lucky that I had pretty nice run. I still work with the Outlaws.
Yeah.
And Henry Paul and I were great friends.
Yeah. Chris Hicks.
Chris Hicks.
Yeah. I
Man,
mean,
one day Chris Hicks is going to hit it, and when it does, I'm going to cry. Because I tell you something, I've seen a lot of things with Chris Hicks, and he is a good guy.
yes.
He plays his ass off, and always there on time, always doing his part. Outstanding guitar leads. Woo, here they come. You know, and for somebody to challenge Chris on stage, they got their hands full, because he can damn sure play a guitar.
Yeah.
And not only that, Chris is a nice guy.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, he and I have, I've known him since he was 14 years old, and I'm still with him. That alone says something right there. The musicians that are out there today are not willing to go through what we all went through. You know, they just they don't have the desire to hit that road the hard way.
Yeah.
And if they ain't gonna hit the hard way, you ain't gonna sell a whole lot of records.
Yeah.
You know, every one of them counts.
The thing that just I love about you is your heart. Your heart is so deep. I mean, just here sharing about Chris and sharing about Otis in the previous episode. You love these guys.
Well, I did.
And you love
I did.
music. And this is why I wanted to bring Alan Walden to you on Positively You, because he is such a positive light in this world. And one of my dearest friends, I love him to death. And
Thank you, my dear sir.
and brother, you know,
You're quite a guy yourself.
well, thank you. And we're going to be back next week with more Positively You. I hope you are looking forward to next week's episode. And thank you, Alan, so much. God bless you, brother.
Well, thank you. Again, thank you. And may it turn out good for you.
It's going to.
I hope it does.
All right. Stay positive.